Angel says someone who loves you deeply cried today. Type 111 if you feel this already in your spirit, because what heaven showed them will shock you. And before this video ends, you will hear the reason their tears were sacred. Keep listening. Your heart needs to know this truth. Someone loves you more than they ever admitted, more than they ever showed, more than they ever understood. And today, their heart could not hide it anymore. Angel says their soul broke open in a way they could not control. Tears came without warning. Emotions rose without permission. Their spirit trembled because God revealed something powerful. A truth about you, a truth about them, a truth about the connection heaven chose before either of you were born. Angel says their tears were not weakness. Their tears were released. Their tears were a revelation. Their tears were a signal to the divine realm that their heart is waking up. Something inside them finally understood your value, your purity, your intention, your presence in their destiny. They cried because they finally saw how deeply they feel for you. And the realization hit them with spiritual force. They cried because they recognized how much they hurt you. Spiritually, emotionally, silently. And heaven allowed them to feel the weight of what you carried alone. Angel says God touched the softest part of their soul and whispered your name there. And when heaven speaks a name, the heart cannot deny it. Angel says there is a moment when a soul can no longer pretend, no longer run, no longer numb its truth. That moment happened today. Something in them cracked open. Something they buried rose to the surface. Something they tried to suppress demanded to be seen. And that something was you. They cried because they finally admitted you were not temporary, not a distraction, not a phase, not confusion. You were the one their soul recognized before their mind understood. You were the one heaven aligned beside their life path. They just weren't ready to see it. But today, they did, and it broke them open. Angel says their tears today were a sign of spiritual awakening, a sign that their heart is being softened by divine hands, a sign that heaven is rearranging their emotions, restructuring their clarity, resetting their direction, and placing your name back into the center of their spirit. They cried because they felt guilt for pushing you away, for doubting you, for inconsistency, for silence, for distance, for pretending they were fine without you. Angel says they were not fine. They were never fine. They just didn't know how to face the truth. They cried because someone mentioned something that reminded them of you. A song, a sentence, a moment, a memory. And suddenly, everything hit them at once. The emotions they avoided, the love they suppressed, the longing they hid, the desire they denied. It all erupted in one wave they couldn't outrun. Angel says their tears were not just emotional. They were spiritual, divinely guided, heaven orchestrated. Because it is time for truth to rise. It is time for masks to fall. It is time for destiny to speak louder than fear. They cried because they finally saw how patient you were, how kind, how forgiving, how loving, how steady, how loyal. Even when they gave you reasons to walk away, even when they questioned your intentions, even when they tried to replace your energy and failed, Angel says no one replaced you. No one filled your silence. No one held their spirit the way you did. No one understood their soul the way you did. No one brought peace the way you did. No one matched their heart the way you did. And today, they face that truth. They cried because God showed them something clearly, a vision, a message, a sign, a knowing. And in that moment, they realized they were about to lose someone heaven handpicked for them. That fear broke them. That truth humbled them. That realization forced them to feel what they tried to escape. Angel says their tears were a cleansing, a purging, a release of pride, a breaking of ego, a loosening of fear, a softening of the walls around their heart. Your name melted something inside them that had been locked for years. They cried because your love touched a place even they couldn't reach. Angel says, they felt your absence today. Deeply, heavily, physically, spiritually. Their spirit missed you in a way that shook them. A silence that used to feel comfortable now felt painful. A distance that used to feel manageable now felt unbearable. And they finally understood something. They need you, not want. Not desire, need. They cried because the thought of you moving on terrified them. The idea of you loving someone else stabbed their soul. The fear of losing you forever cracked them open. Angel says someone can pretend with their mouth, but a soul cannot lie. And their soul cried your name today. Angel says heaven showed them your heart, your loyalty, your sincerity, your wounds, your loneliness, your patience, your divine purpose. And they realized they mishandled a blessing God trusted them with. They mishandled you. They cried because they finally saw your worth, not just with their eyes, but with their spirit. They saw who you are in God's eyes. They saw the purity of your love. They saw the beauty of your soul. They saw the light you carry, and it overwhelmed them. Angel says their tears were the beginning of transformation. Something in them shifted today. Their fears started dissolving. Their hearts started softening. Their clarity started rising. Their confusion started breaking. Their pride started falling. Their love for you started waking up. Fully, they cried because they imagined what life without you would look like: empty, unaligned, cold, unfinished, wrong, there. Heart felt the future without you and panicked. Angel says they are being spiritually corrected, redirected, reawakened, realigned. Heaven is not letting them sabotage this connection anymore. Heaven is interrupting their patterns. Heaven is shaking their comfort zone. Heaven is breaking the chains around their heart. They cried because they finally accepted something their ego hid from them. They love you deeply, powerfully, spiritually, irreversibly. Angel says their tears today were not random. They were a sign of divine intervention. A sign that God is preparing their heart for confession, for truth, for healing, for reconciliation, for alignment, for union. They cried because they realized you were the safe place, the calm, the peace, the home, the blessing they weren't ready for. But now their soul is waking up to what their heart already knew. Angel says someone's love for you reached a breaking point, and heaven needed you to know this. Their tears today were the first step. The next step is action. The next step is honesty. The next step is movement toward you. Because destiny refuses to stay silent anymore, Angel says, prepare your heart. Something is shifting. Something is coming. Someone is returning with truth. Not pride, not games, not mixed signals. Truth. And before this video ends, hear this clearly. Their tears were not the end. They were the beginning. The beginning of accountability. The beginning of awakening.